I got an instant 10-0 with this team, and that's mainly because I utilized ABB style of double steal at the back towards my advantage with Lucario as an aggressive switch with Force Palm. So this Pokemon at first was not that great in my eyes, especially with Force Palm not being better than Counter, but as it seems it still performs kinda well. So you can tell here that we can charge up on those charge attacks at a decent pace as well, while Force Palm is gonna connect for a lot of damage. You just saw that we finished off this mountain with style, while our opponent here is having a red steel at the back to emerge as a solid sweeper against my team. And this is one of the best battles that I have had throughout this entire season. That's why I'm kicking off the video with this battle in particular. So you can already tell here that we got the move effectively on our Ferrothorn, so we might be in the advantage, but guess again, because my Ferrothorn is still gonna be weak to those Focus Blasts, which are definitely coming up on my way. And of course my opponent is trying to catch here the Thunder, but we know better, making them think that we throw the Thunder, and instead we go for the Power Whip for the instant nuke. Now by blocking here, I realize that perhaps I can have a chance at all of this chaotic mess, because I need to catch the next Focus Blast on my mountain. Let's see if that is gonna work, because we're charging up a ton of energy, and now we get one more catch, this time on mountain with a Focus Blast, and we will try to drop them as low as possible so that our Ferrothorn might actually be on a very good spot to sweep that red steel finally down. So the Metal Trascan can still survive my moves, but as it seems they get to a questionable charge attack, because it is the Focus Blast which is not gonna connect for the knockout, and of course we can finish them off in return with that Aerial Ace. So at this point I want to ask you, trainer, which one is your favorite Pokemon to use in Fossil Cup? Mine has to be this Force Palm Lucario. To my surprise, it absolutely went havoc against enemies, and of course I was having a ton of fun. Also you can see here that we can have a chance even up against Poliwrath, which is pretty great, and at this point I'm definitely coming back to the game with my Ferrothorn, because I know that Lantern might be their obvious choice over here. So with my Power Whip I will try to do my best on that Pokemon. Here comes the shield, absolutely awesome, and I believe that we can survive pretty much whatever they throw, since everything is resisted. Now getting on the Power Whip, but they end up catching on their Ferrothorn. It doesn't matter at all, we can still switch out now on our mountain and have a much healthier environment on the sweeping scenario, because if we can block here correctly the Thunder, we might actually do severe damage to this Ferrothorn, and on the plus side we're gonna have our own Ferrothorn over that Lantern on the end game, which is pretty great. Now that they are shieldless, I'm just gonna get my hands on that Aerial Ace to drop them kinda lower, and of course here we can easily take the move and let our mountain go down. However, they end up going for the Power Whip in a weird combo to finish me off with the Power Whip and the Thunderbolt. Down I go, but still we have the shield around. So I'm just gonna rely completely here on my Ferrothorn, because we can easily outspeed this Lantern to victory, and of course their own Ferrothorn has nothing to throw here, so I guess that after this charge attack they have only one thing in mind: to leave this battle, and we're gonna get a severe victory on this one. Into the next battle now, everyone, with a Ferrothorn up in front. Not the best lead, because Thunder can absolutely be a destroying move for us. And as you can see, we also pass through a Forcing Palm, which is pretty great. Look at the animation, I really love it. Down we go now to the Poliwrath, but this is the key element of this team. You need to aggressively switch in there with your Lucario, draw out the Poliwrath, do some decent work on the opposing side's energy and shields, and so that your Ferrothorn will most likely have no other severe weakness at the very end, and this is how you can win a lot. This is how I got my 10-0 streak. But of course today not only we're gonna showcase some of these battles from my 10-0, but also I'm not gonna have any positive lead at all, or at least not any very good one, at least neutral. So anyways, now with the mountain we can still provide some extra pressure now on their end, as I'm trying to catch the move on my own Ferrothorn. As it seems, this happens quite a few times here, and we managed to catch the move and also preserve all that final energy for the end game, since Mantin has a weird moveset that can be proven to be one of the best ones that you can have towards the end game. So now we can easily farm down in the process with those bullet seeds while also surviving a little bit more the next thunder. We are kinda low, but still at the very end emerges a Jelly Sand. A double power whip here might actually do the trick. Look at the damage output, one more power whip as they're passing through one more hex, and at this point they have 5, which means that we can easily switch out on our Mantin, lag a little bit, but still get on the RLAs to finish them off. Down goes Jelly Sand, and here is another huge victory. Into the next battle now with the lantern up in front, and I haven't showcased a lot of lanterns, but till the end, from now till the end, you're gonna see quite a bunch. So lantern here is gonna get on the surf, we're just gonna block it, and now they switch out on Pelipper. I can already imagine that perhaps there is a Mantin at the back at a weird ABB team style with double flying, and all in all it could also be a triple A, since every single Pokemon could be a water type 1. Anyways, at this point we force the CMP, 2 of those shields are already down, and of course Mantin can easily return to the game to finish them off with the Ice Beam. I also realized that one Hurricane will do a lot of damage, but on the other hand, perhaps if they have a Mantin at the back, my Ferrothorn will be the ultimate sweeping Pokemon for them. Down goes Pelipper, Lantern emerges alongside Mantin. They realize they have no chance at all, and they immediately stopped tapping their screen, so down they go to my moves. Ferrothorn for the win. Into the next one now with a Mantin on the mirror. So Mantins are not that great on the mirror. It quite takes a while to unfold all of those battles, but here is where Ice Beam can make the difference. I'm trying to go for the move here while my opponent is overcharging a lot, and they definitely see my switch coming from a mile away. So they are expecting counter switching me here with that red steel, which is something that I do not think is gonna be a very good thing for them. By blocking the Focus Blast, we can still guarantee the farm down. Even if that Mantin returns, we still have Thunder Punch, which was added on Lucario's moveset this season. So instead of that, we're gonna have that Poliwrath. So with Poliwrath coming into the game, now we can easily finish it off with our Mantin, and perhaps they messed up here because they could get the red steel for the very end game and still had a severe chance to victory. So perhaps they mistakenly tapped on the wrong Pokemon, but it is what it is, and we need to adapt on the situation as the opposing Mantin here is getting 2 more charge attacks. I want to get my hands on that Power Whip to finish them off, but I also realize that we need to get to back-to-back moves. Unfortunately for me, I lag a little bit here. That was super scary, getting on the Power Whip to finish them off, and one more to thread the shield out of play with the Poliwrath joining the party. Now without any shield at all, we can easily snipe them down with a single Aerial Ace, since this Pokemon is almost energy dry, and down they go. That was awesome. Into the next one, Mantin against the world, Mantin against Pelipper, and this is kinda an even scenario, even though they can easily snipe us down with a simple Hurricane. So I guess that the Ice Beam is gonna be my main way to go, to drop them kinda lower, and now switching out on Lucario to see if we can bait out of there something like a Poliwrath or another fighter like an Escavalier, for example. Now Lantern is reaching to its surf, we have access on the South Ball for a little bit of extra pressure, and we get the shield out of play. So at this point I want to come to the battle with a Ferrothorn, because I know that Mantin might actually be a safer option as it seems, since they have come into the battle with their Lantern. However, on the other hand, actually they have the Pelipper loaded on energy, perhaps 100 already, so here we're not looking that great. Anyways, I'm blocking the move and then switching out on the Mantin, but as it seems they have back-to-back moves, the Weather Ball and the Hurricane. This is absolutely great for them, but we can also survive and still farm down. Whiskas lies at the very end, so now all we need to do is to get to a couple of Aerial Aces to drop them kinda low, and of course I'm hoping that I can get to a third one, because this is my main key to victory. If they have Blizzard here, perhaps we might might be in deep trouble, so I decide to block, hoping that this is Blizzard and not a bait. It ends up being the nuke. Here comes now the double power whip. Let's see if we can win the second charge attack race, because this might be a CMP, but it isn't. Down goes the Whiskas, and with it their chances to victory. That was awesome. Let's get now into the next one with the Registeel up in front. And if you're thinking, Ganeto, Registeel was absolutely manageable before, well, think again, because we won with a little bit of luck. So here comes now Thunder Punch over the Poliwrath. We can do some extra damage on them, but unfortunately we cannot land the finishing blow. If only I had better IVs. Anyways, now with that Poliwrath getting on a charge attack, we can easily survive it on our Mountain, but still they have the Registeel, which is a devastating Pokemon for us. Overall, Registeel is a huge core breaker for this team. You're not gonna see many of those in Fossil Cup, but for the little bit of Registeel that you're gonna see, well, this team is definitely gonna struggle up against them. Into the next one now, Mountain against the World, and we're having a Lantern once again, so this is horrible. Poliwrath comes into the game as I'm trying to get here on the Thunder Punch. So Thunder Punch might actually do the trick, so they decide to block, and in the process they get a ton of energy. However, here is where Mountain can return to the battle, since they are still switch locked in there with me, and as soon as we finish off this Poliwrath, perhaps we can have the upper hand over a Lantern and the final Pokemon with our Ferrothorn. So at this point we can easily survive those Ice Winds, while we can still aim on the complete farm down. Down goes the shiny Poliwrath, what a flex, and now Lantern will face our Ferrothorn. So at the very end lies a Colisopod, and this is a team structure that I saw quite a bit last night, and I guess that someone made a video around it, otherwise it makes no sense. So anyways, now with the Thunder we managed to get the shield, but also we can provide a little bit of extra pressure on them with another threat of Thunder, and since they are still switch locked in here with me, the Thunder will definitely connect for the lethal blow. Down goes a nice chunk, down goes that Golisopod, and only Lantern remains now at the very end. If I were them, perhaps I could have already top left this battle, but I'm just gonna take my hat on you, because well played, you're staying in, you never know what will happen. Anyways, another Power Whip to finish you down, and down goes Lantern alongside their dreams to victory. So let's see now what we have into the next one against a weird trainer with a Lantern. Okay, it is Lantern. So Lantern this time carries the move Water Gun, which is something I didn't know, so that's why I immediately switched out on my Lucario. So at this point I guess that we can have the upper hand also on the switch Pokemon, because Scavalier joins the party. What I figured out is that Lucario doesn't need Shadow Ball in Fossil Cup. I have it here, I barely use it though, so I guess that placing a Thunder Punch might actually be a better combo for you for those steel types. So with that in mind, now if I had the Blaziken here, we could easily guarantee the knockout over a Scavalier, but it doesn't matter. So now with Lantern returning to the game and the Water Guns, we can survive even better here with our Ferrothorn, and I guess that with the fighter out of the way, perhaps we can have a chance to victory. However, my opponent still has a Lucario of their own at the back, getting on the Power Punch, but before we go down, we can land the Big Thunder. So with the Thunder, we can drop them severely low at the point that Mountain can easily farm down. This has to be a Power Punch. I was counting their moves, no reason to be something like a Thunder Punch, and now by taking advantage of those resisted Water Guns, we can absolutely wreak havoc on their defenses. I get here on a risky Ice Beam, perhaps a double Aerial Ace could still have done the work here alongside my wing attacks, but it is what it is, and we need to adapt once again to the situation, able to outspeed here with all of that energy that our Mountain is having, and we finally deliver the lethal blow over another Lantern. So speaking of Lantern, another one for the final team showcase. I'm telling you, this team is absolutely insane, and we're focusing only on the very bad leads on today's content. So here comes now Thunder Punch on the Escavalier. Once again, we could have had the upper hand with our Blaze Kick, but it doesn't matter. So with Mountain, we might actually be on a very good spot here by surviving every single charge attack that they're gonna throw, and they end up going for those acid sprays. I'm just gonna try to stall a little bit here, not gonna hit any more because I want to avoid the potential sparks from that lantern, and in doing so we managed to survive and of course bring our Ferrothorn into the battle. Golissobot lies at the very end. Ferrothorn, as it seems, will once again emerge like a solid closer with its thunder, even though that was a great. Down they go to the bullet seed, and since Lantern is the only final Pokemon, we managed to get another huge victory. Look at that, the 5-0, absolutely awesome, and the surprise reward. So that is a fantastic ending to today's content. Before you go, leave a huge like though, subscribe to my content, and if you want to see more of my content here on YouTube, these two videos might actually be for you. Thank you for watching, trainers, and I hope to see you all into the next one.